Hey everybody, welcome to video one of this meal planning series. My hope for the series of these videos is to really break down meal planning for you, make it simple, very easy tasks that are manageable and not overwhelming. Meal planning is not hard. It doesn't have to be hard. You can make it hard, but it doesn't have to be. So my goal is to break it down for you so that it's very simple. It's something you can take very slowly this week, learn a few things, and then hopefully put it all together for next week, right? So today's topic is really the prep for meal planning, okay? So the very first thing that I do when I am meal planning is I sit down with my calendar, okay? So whether you are somebody who uses your phone, the calendar on your phone, maybe you have a planner, maybe you have a desk planner, maybe you have a bulletin board, I don't know, wherever you have all of your sort of family's to-dos, right? That's where you're going to want to start. So what I do is I sit down and I do use a planner or yeah, I guess it's called a planner for my meal planning, and I'm going to show that in another video. But I sit down and I look at our family's schedule, right? So on Mondays, right, Harley typically has dance. So I know that that's a later day for us. I have to go pick her up. I have to go pick up Grayson. There's like a scrambling of children. And so I know that by the time I get home, it's going to be about 5:30, 5:45. So I need to plan something to make on that night that doesn't take very long, right? I can't plan to make something that has to bake in the oven for an hour and a half. We wouldn't eat until 8 p.m. My kids go to bed at 8:30, right? So I can't plan that on that night. So I know that on Mondays, I have to plan something that's quick, something that I can put together really fast, right? Or maybe I plan a crock pot meal for that day. It's been cooking all day. When we get home, it's ready, right? So look at your calendar. You want to know what it is that's happening throughout the week. Something else you want to look for. Sometimes Michael and I have meetings, right? So he's not home. A lot of his school teacher meetings, sometimes there's food. So then it's just me and the kids. Well, I'm not going to create and make this big elaborate meal when it's just me and the kids. The kids aren't probably going to eat it anyway. So I'll just have something smaller or some leftovers or whatever it is. Other things you want to look for, like I said, pay attention to how much time you have that night, right? If you have something going later on, kids have practice, kids have a dance recital, kids have something or whatever, you have something. You know you're not going to have a ton of time. You have to plan for that. Think about who's home, like I said. Nights out, right? So I'm going to be honest, we typically don't eat at home on Friday nights. That's going to change here in a few weeks, but we typically do not eat at home on Fridays. So I don't plan a meal for Fridays because we eat out that night. Now, I'm not saying that you should plan to eat out once every week. I'm just saying that's how our family works. But if you do have things scheduled like girls' night or a drink with a friend and you're going to have appetizers there and then probably not come home and have dinner, plan for that. So make sure you're looking at your calendar and you're seeing what's on there. The other thing I do is I sit down with Michael and I talk about what we want to eat that week. Do either of us have a special craving? Pretty much every Tuesday we have something Mexican themed. Typically tacos, sometimes tostadas, but whatever it is, it's typically Mexican themed. That's just how our family rolls. We would eat Mexican food every night if we could, but that's what we like. So when I sit down for planning, look for recipes that will fulfill that craving. Sometimes Michael's craving like steak, right? And so I plan that into our meals. Sometimes I'm craving pasta. So I look for a recipe that has pasta. So sit down and think about not only who's home and how much time you have and all of that, but like, what are you wanting to eat? Just because you're meal planning and you're, working on your health and your fitness and you're trying to eat clean and you're trying to really stick with the containers or whatever your plan is, does not mean that you cannot have the foods that you're craving and the foods that you want. It just means that you need to find a healthy version that's going to fulfill that craving. You also want to make sure when you're looking at your calendar that you're looking for any special events, right? Somebody's birthday, anniversary, whatever it is. And oddly enough, you would think that those don't come up very often, but we typically have something going on like that once a week, right? I guess, I don't know if my family is just overly social or what, but we always have something going on, whether it's during the week or on the weekend, right? So that's it for this first video, is really just to look at your calendar and see what is on tap, so that you don't get home at 6 o'clock and realize, oh God, I had scheduled to make this big elaborate thing. I don't have time for that. And now you're rushing out to McDonald's to get something fast. Or you stop at home because you realize it's super late and I don't have time to make dinner, right? But you've already planned for this very simple, very quick to put together, or crock pot meal or whatever, and you can stay on plan, okay? Hope this is helpful, and I will see you guys in video 2. Bye.